We're live?
Oh, yeah, we're
What's
live.
going on, guys?
Hey.
What up?
Had a fun day yesterday. As you can all tell,
we did.
we're all wearing our brand new 2003 Toyota Tacoma hats. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
We all went to the Bay FC game together. It was a blast, man. I had an absolute great time. That was one hell of a team from Japan. So, I'm glad we got to see a couple goals, and unfortunately, we didn't get the dub, but we'll get into that and more. How's everyone doing? How was your Monday?
Long Monday,
burnt.
but yeah. I mean, we're a couple minutes later than we normally start, just because it was just getting out of the just getting logged off was a bit of a hassle. So here we are now, though, ready to talk some fun little.
I think I was suffering from the heat
sports. Put down one too many glizzies yesterday.
After party of Korean barbecue.
Oh,
even better.
I found an aperitif bottle in my liquor cabinet that came in extra clutch last night. I took 2 of those and slept like a baby.
I haven't eaten. That's how full I am. I didn't eat lunch.
So, it looks like there's not a whole lot going on in the NBA if you're a Warriors fan, but we do have a little bit of news update. We might as well just roll on into this one here.
Well, I mean, we got football first on our docket.
Wait, is it football season yet?
Yeah.
I did that on purpose. So we're doing football. So let's do it, baby.
It's literally the first thing on our docket, man. I told you that.
I scrolled down, man.
Before the meeting.
I scrolled down.
You just jumped right past it.
Yeah, I want to know about JK, but we'll get into it, I guess. We'll get into it. Yeah. How do I feel about the Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, me and Sam talked a little bit about our teams last week. You weren't on, so how do you feel about your Eagles heading into?
We don't want to hear from the Eagles fan.
Yeah, just a little bit. I want to give him his chance. Give him a couple minutes. You're the defending champs, right? You get, give you a minute to. I'm gonna put the timer on. Go ahead, go off. Ready, go.
Man, I feel great, actually. I do. I would say my biggest concern right now is still the secondary, but I'm loving what our rookies did last season. Reed Blankenship stepped up. Obviously, we had Guantanamo Bay, our safety over there in Quinyon Mitchell. So I think losing Slay and losing CJ Gardner-Johnson is going to be something that we're going to have to fill that out for the season. I will also say, too, losing your OC. He's down in New Orleans right now. I pray for you, because that's a terrible situation to be in. That's also going to be a question mark, too. But other than that, man, for the most part, all parties returned back to run it back. Our quarterback is already being asked why he doesn't have his ring, and he said, that's last year's news. I'm ready to move on. It's now time to lock in for this year. And that is your leader in the locker room. There's no reason why every Sunday, Monday, or Thursday we can't be locked in for any game possible and any opponent coming our way. So super excited. I want to run it back. Like I said, I'm going to be optimistic. We are the champions. So am I going to gloat every chance I can? Absolutely, 100%. But I'm excited for the season to start here.
Fair. All right. Good. Okay, you got that. We got that out of the way. Good to know. Okay, so now as far as camp reports for our teams, Sam, there was some news that happened this week with your team. Let's start with the big one. Go
Nothing
ahead.
To see here.
Sure, bud. Go ahead. What happened? What really happened?
Well, Christian Wilkins is released. I think what happened here is, like, we were texting about it, and there's like a lot of stuff being talked about right now. I think what ended up happening is there's 2 things that's being reported on that I'm hearing. Is one, he was not really doing his rehab, rehabilitation, like, up to what they were requesting, and for whatever reason the healing wasn't taking. So they asked a couple of doctors of their opinion, and they wanted to do the surgery again. He did not want to do the surgery, and then apparently there was like a locker room incident where it's being rumored that Wilkins kissed another player, like in a playful
Oh,
way, but kissed like the top of somebody's head. And they were like, nah, you ain't doing that. So apparently it caused some type of controversy in the locker room. And with everything combined, they're saying like, this guy didn't do everything he could to get his body ready to compete. And we know Pete Carroll's favorite slang, compete. Right? It's in his name. So apparently, like there wasn't really a clear path for him to get healthy, get right. So they voided the contract. So now it's going to get ugly. It's probably going to go to the arbitration, and it's going to get hashed out between the NFL and the Players Association. But honestly, man, like it really sucks that the free agent signing didn't work. I feel like under any old Raiders regime, they would have just tolerated this and like would have been like, okay, it would have been Antonio Brown all over again. Like, remember how long it took to get any type of resolution on that? Or years past Javon Walker, where like clearly he could not play, but they kept him around for months and months and months. Like, if Wilkins is not going to be on the team and there's no clear path, like you got to make a decision. You can't miss what you never had. He was never really on the team. He played 5 games and he was gone. So I think like ultimately it sucks that you're losing like a really good player, and I wish him well. But the Raiders had to make a decision and move on with the guys that are available to them. So they did what they had to do. It sucks to lose them, but you gotta keep moving forward. You can't miss what you never had. And as I've been listening to Lincoln Kennedy talk about this quite a bit, he had a great saying. You're not going to make the club in the tub. So if you're injured and you're in the recovery tub, you're not going to be playing football.
fair enough. Anything else coming out of Raiders camp? Anything else you want to talk about? Nope. Is it my turn? Okay. Um,
Is there
all right.
something I missed?
No, I'm just making sure because now I got to talk about Juwan Jennings injuring his calf, re-aggravating his injury from OTAs. That's I was kind of trying to. All right, that happened earlier this week. I mean, he did show up, even though he's requested either to get paid or traded. So he's there. He's injured. We're gonna we're seeing how that's playing out. Still to be determined. Ricky Pearsall has been activated from the PUP list. He's in uniform and started practicing with the team, so that's great. And with training camp PUP, it's basically you're just on that list until you're off the list. Basically, it's like, and there's no minimum amount of time or maximum. It's just you're there until you're not. And so it just sounded like it was one of those things. It was like just he needed a couple extra days, and they finally were able to get him right. And a couple of other noteworthy things from the Niners over the last week is they signed Eli Apple to a 1-year deal, cornerback depth. They released Quintez Cephas in a corresponding move. So the wide receiver room gets a little bit lighter to make way to help the cornerbacks. And then yesterday, this came across a defensive end, Taron Jackson, left practice and went to the hospital. He was able to move his extremities, and I haven't heard anything bad. So it sounds like, things are, if you don't hear anything bad, it sounds, and you kind of assume things are at least neutral, if not getting better. Like they don't typically say, "Oh, he's doing better," and then that's it. They just kind of until you actually see him back on the field. So hopefully he's all right, and he's progressing, and he'll hopefully it's nothing too serious. Obviously, if you go to the hospital, it's not unserious. So hopefully that's all good and gets like hopefully he's okay. That's the long
Yeah.
story short there. So that's that's basically what the Niners have going on right now. There's a bunch of like, fluff pieces about Nick Bosa's like, getting more vocal with like other young defensive linemen now, and um uh Rook- Jordan Watkins summer challenge win over 49ers coach who doesn't love rookie wide receivers is another headline I saw. Fred Warner is like, a top linebacker, but then there's no other linebacker in the top 100 rankings in the NFL on the Niners squad. So who's gonna be Fred Warner's running mate, and how does that player elevate, to match what Fred Warner brings? There's all these kinds of questions that still are to be answered. And we got football this week, guys. It's the Hall of Fame game, so it's none of our teams. And it's literally the Hall of Fame game. So uh nobody playing in this game is, gonna be a Pro Bowler this year, probably. So I mean, but it's football, and this is the end of no football until February. Okay, so we're officially through it. We've the dark days are over, as our friend Florence Welsh would say.
All is well right now.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, in the Eagles camp, no news. So I'll take no news is good news any day of the week. So, um, my biggest concern though is Jordan Davis lost a lot of weight. He looks great. Don't get me wrong, but his body and size was there to stuff the run, and I'm gonna be curious to see how that's gonna work out because he looks like he lost about 60 pounds or 80 pounds, something like that, between his rookie season to now. So that's my biggest concern. And if that's my biggest concern, I don't have any issues in this offseason.
Right. All right. Well, okay. So, just around the league, there was one note that came in for you fantasy football nut jobs out there. Cortland Sutton got paid again. He's got 4 years, $92 million extension out of Denver. So, whatever he does in Denver, they really like it. So, he keeps finding the bank there. So, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So that's a pretty safe pick for you psychopaths out there. All right. I think that'll do it for at least the football part until we actually have games for us to talk about. For now, at least, until there's actually something to talk about. Let's move over to the Jonathan Kuminga update, and let's talk basketball. Let's talk Warriors. And so the Warriors asking price, according to Anthony Slater, was reportedly at least one first-round pick, one good young player, and no bad contracts in return. I mean, it would make sense that that's what you would ask for, right? I mean,
yeah, you
We're
got to ask
looking
for a
for the
king's ransom.
perfect deal.
yeah, exactly.
Tony, I mean, Danny Ainge can't be the only one with these lopsided trade requests.
I know,
here, so
I know, right? Yeah,
we have to have that. I mean, honestly, and it makes sense. But I did hear that Vucevic is, if they can't find a trading partner, they're going to release him in Chicago. So might be something to think about too, because I think Chicago was also a person that was really considering Jonathan Kuminga. So it sounds like maybe that's falling through, and they can't seem to match that.
Yeah.
Brooklyn decided to say they're done.
Yeah, Sacramento and I think Phoenix, I think were the two big teams that they were like really, really trying, but so far they're not offering anything that the Warriors are interested in. So what can you do, right? The Warriors don't want Malik Monk, I mean, that's it. If you're not offering something the Warriors don't want, you can't do nothing with it. So it kind of sounds like earlier this week they were also talking about Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton contracts, that they're basically verbally kind of done with the Warriors and they're like ready to go, but they're kind of on hold until the situation plays out with Jonathan Kuminga. So until that's sorted out, you can't do anything else. And so basically, it's almost like this is the domino that needs to fall for anything, not just with the Warriors, but with a bunch of other teams now. Like this is the
Yeah.
piece that needs to fall for the next wave of free agency, the market to move forward. Whatever happens here, that's what needs to be the next thing to happen.
Yeah, and I wonder too, like, how did we get here? You know what I mean? Like, I know Kerr loves his vets that got him those chips, but you got to say that at one point Kerr kind of really messed this situation up by not playing Kaminga, and the two sides of the coin, Kaminga being hurt when he was really starting to come along last season really derailed any kind of confidence that Steve Kerr was going to give to him. But I think at one point, you kind of have to look back and be like, he's gonna make mistakes, and I don't think Kerr gave him enough leash and opportunity to continue making those mistakes to learn how to grow out of it. So I think we kind of fell into the situation due to maybe an organizational standpoint and a coaching standpoint of why we're in this stalemate.
Yeah, two tracks. The so-called parallel paths. That phrase that I want to hold my head underwater to the bubble stop coming when I hear it. That path, where you're trying to win championships now and build for the future at the same time. That only really works if you're going to let the rookies fail, but then keep getting chances. And Steve Kerr wasn't really because the veterans weren't like had to miss a lot of time for injuries here and there. It did work to an extent. You did get championships still. Like you got the 2022 championship, right? You're still in the playoffs fairly often, but the rookies didn't, progress that much. You didn't really build up the next level, and at that part, on that aspect, that part failed of it, and so I think it's tough. You wanted to be able to build the future, and I don't think they were able to do it at this point. And Kaminga was a huge part of that. You wanted him to be part of that, and it hasn't worked out at all. Man,
I would push back a little bit in the sense of, like, I've asked this numerous times. What's a game that we clearly all remember where Jonathan Kaminga has dominated the game, beginning to end, offensively, defensively?
Mhm.
Where, he came in off the bench or started a game and scored a bunch of points. But it's, you guys are reading the same stuff that I'm reading. He's choosing not to play defense. He's choosing not to be a better rebounder.
Mhm.
Like, this dude is all about scoring, and you're not going to get playing time if you don't make an attempt to do those other things. So it's easy to say, well, he needs to play through his mistakes, but at the same time, like, you have to put an effort on defense. You have to put an effort on rebounding.
That's
and
fair.
he doesn't do that
You're
to this day.
You're absolutely right. That's a very valid, fair point. And that's totally fair. He did need to do that stuff too. And I just wonder I think there is a middle ground somewhere in between both of those. Like, because I think he needed more playing time than what he got, but also Steve Kerr was right to pull him in a lot of these situations too, where he wasn't giving effort too. So I think there is a middle ground somewhere in there, though. Like I mean, where's the line between a mistake and a lack of effort?
You're only going to become a better defender or a rebounder by playing the game of basketball. So you got to play.
Exactly.
But, so it's two wrongs don't make a right.
It's tough. It's a tough line, right? Like, you got to learn, right? But you learn by playing, and it's just it's just a frustrating situation, man. I wish we could have seen better, seen him do better. I wish he would have put in a little bit more effort in the times when he was given more of an opportunity. I wish when he was given an opportunity and he made mistakes, I wish he could have had an opportunity to, keep playing through those mistakes as well. I mean, so like, I wish we could, read his mind and figure out where was that line, and I don't know, whatever. I did see something just real quick. Just real quick, completely off subject, but still NBA related. I have the NBA's highest paid players for this coming season. The 1 year contracts. Do you guys want to just throw out some names? Who do you think is
so wait,
top
they
10?
only have a 1 year contract?
Well, just this year's top salary earners for NBA contracts.
Oh well, Shea's going to be up there.
No, actually, no, because his first year is not as high as the following years. Because it's an extension.
Curry,
so it's for the 2025.
million.
Steph Curry is number one, 59.6 million.
And then I would say LeBron has to be up there.
LeBron hasn't signed a deal yet, though.
No, LeBron's not on this list right now.
He hasn't signed a deal yet.
Oh, because he hasn't signed the offer.
Yeah, exactly.
Luka.
He hasn't signed his extension either.
Luka's not on this. No.
Okay, if it's obviously Curry, number one, I'd say number two. I'm gonna go through the list of players. Giannis is still under contract, so I'm gonna say
Giannis is number 4, 54.2 million.
Jokic would probably be number 3.
Jokic is number 2, 55.3. Okay. I'll give you a hint. Somebody's tied with Jokic for 2.
Cat?
Karl Anthony Towns is actually on the list. He is tied for 9th. I'll give you a hint. There's a 3-way tie for 9th. So there's actually 11 players on this top 10 list. At 53.1 million.
Oh, Paulo Banchero. I think he made a boatload of money. I don't know if that's an extension though. Okay, that was not a contract then. I don't think Anthony Davis is on there.
Anthony Davis is on this list, 54.2 million. He is number 6.
Oh shit!
Jesus Christ. Okay. Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler's on this list, 54.2 million. He's number. Actually, he's. Same as Anthony Davis. They're actually all tied for 4. There's actually one.
Devin Booker.
Devin Booker is one of them. Yes, he is also tied at 9th, 53.1 million.
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant is on this list, 53.3 million.
Damian Lillard.
He's 8th. Who?
Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard is not on this list.
Yeah, next year he will. Because this year it's like all like vet minimum.
Okay, so deferred it to next season.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
How many more do we have left?
Let's see. Got 1, 2, 3.
Oh, Draymond.
No.
Thought he'd make a lot of money. Okay.
So you're missing somebody tied for 2nd. You're missing somebody tied for 4th. Tied for 4th with Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, and Giannis.
Rudy Gobert?
No. And then you're missing somebody tied for 9th with Devin Booker and Karl Anthony Towns.
Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell.
No. Damn. Who'd you say, Sam?
Brunson?
No. No, not quite. Okay. All right.
There's no way Julius Randle's on this list.
Julius Randle is not on this list. Okay.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna call it right here. But you guys did pretty good. You got 8 out of 11. So who you're missing right now? Tied for 2nd with Jokic is Joel Embiid at 55.3. And then
forgot he was playing.
Right. I know. So 54.2 million tied for 4th with Giannis, Jimmy Butler, Anthony Davis is Jason Tatum.
Oh, yeah.
And then tied for 9th with Devin Booker and Karl Anthony Towns is Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
So there you go. So And then squeezed in between both of those two groups is Kevin Durant at 53.3 million. So yeah. And you guys did say KD. So there you go.
Not bad.
Fun
Not bad.
facts.
Not bad.
Yeah, I forgot to put I forgot to drop in the I want to play a game image. But yeah, so there you are. There's your game. Let's speaking of games, I think we should move on to the Valkyries because they had a couple of games after the All-Star break. Look at that. Look at that transition. Damn, I'm good. Okay. On Friday, they played the Dallas Wings at home. They get the 10-point win, 86-76. Then they go immediately after that game, they fly across the country to play at the Connecticut Sun and lose 95-64. That was a 10 a.m. local. That was a 10 a.m. Pacific
what is
time
with these? This is
tip-off.
like the fourth one I've seen. What is these 10 a.m. tip-offs?
It is brutal. That is rough, man. I don't like it. That is rough. It doesn't matter that the Connecticut Sun are like a last place team when you're that body clock, you know, like a 10 a.m. start time on the body clock, especially when you had a red eye on Friday night into Saturday morning. You get one day to adjust. That's not a, you know, I mean, and the players to their credit, they're not making the excuses. That's anybody talking about the game is making the excuses for them, including actually the broadcasters on the game. As I was watching it, they're like, the players aren't making excuses. That's our job for them. And I was like,
what doesn't make any sense is like, there's no other sporting event going on.
Yeah,
Literally
especially in
nothing
Connecticut.
else.
Yeah. I mean,
they
there's no
they
reason
can't afford to have a normal tip-off.
They could have. There's no reason why they couldn't. I mean, it's a 1 p.m. local start time. They could have pushed it back to 4 o'clock local. Like, there's no reason.
Yeah, I mean, we
on a Friday,
on a Sunday, you know,
or a Sunday.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. There's nothing going on unless you sold out the stadium and I don't know, Lady Gaga and Beyonce are performing back-to-back nights, and you can't afford to move those. I mean,
not the Mohegan Sun Arena. That's not you know, that's they're playing slightly bigger venues than that. Unfortunately, you know. So I don't get why these start times are so, you know, early. It doesn't make sense to me at all, you know. And I'm sure there was reasons for it back when, you know, the league was smaller and had to squeeze in between other things, but this league is bigger now. There's a lot more popularity with it. There's a lot more eyes watching these games now. I think you can put these games on at more of a prime time type time frame. Like it's entirely reasonable to do that. You know, people are watching a lot more people are watching these games now. You can compete against the local news now. You can put these on at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. It'll be fine. You know, honestly, it's
what's
it's
not
a little
fine
bit frustrating.
Is the next news you're about to drop on
us? So before the game on Friday, the Valkyries announced that forward Kayla Thornton, all-star forward, the first all-star in Valkyries history, suffered an injury to her right knee earlier this week in practice, and she underwent a successful knee surgery, but it ends her season. She's beginning the rehab process immediately, and obviously wishing her a speedy recovery. But
her what it was though?
They just said knee surgery. I'm assuming it's an ACL, but they didn't give any specifics.
So lower injury.
Yeah,
lower
just
body.
Well, I mean, they said right knee. They went way more specific than hockey. Like, you know, it's a brutal way to end the season. You didn't even get to like, you know, go play a game after you played in the All-Star game. She had a double in the All-Star game too. You know, it's like, you know, she played well, and she made the All-Star team. She's, you know, it was a hell of a season. She was the top scorer. She played every game. She started every game for the team too, going into it. And her and Veronica Burton were the only two that had played to this point. And it's an unfortunate way to lose your all-star. But So, reeling from that loss, it was nice to see the Valkyries kind of rally around that news and get the W against the Wings. Uh, not having her there, obviously going forward, hurts, especially on this massive road trip. When you look at the upcoming schedule, this week is going to be pretty rough. You're at the Atlanta Dream on Tuesday. You're at the Washington Mystics on Thursday. You're at Chicago on Friday, and then you're at the Las Vegas Aces on Sunday. So, of those four teams, only Chicago is not ahead of you in the standings as of right now. Washington Mystics are just half a game ahead. So that's a very important game. If you get that win, that's very crucial. You can start to climb your way back into the playoff picture. Atlanta is in fourth right now. They're revamped, they're relooked, they're reloaded. They added a lot of pieces in the offseason. Brittany Griner, and a lot of other players came into Atlanta and they just look really good. Las Vegas, they've started to figure it out a little bit. So that's going to be a little bit tougher, but you've played well against them before. Although now you don't have your all-star. So it's going to be a little bit of a tougher ask. So, and then Chicago has Angel Reese, and Angel is, not, that's a pretty solid player, obviously. Yeah, Bayou Barbie is nothing to, take a stick at. That's pretty awesome, pretty good player. There is that's going to be a tough schedule looking this coming week. If you can get 2-2 out of this, or even go 3-1 this upcoming week, that goes a long way toward making the playoffs. I would love to see 2-2 out of this coming week. If you can beat Washington and Chicago, those would be the two that I'm circling. If you can find a way to get a win against Vegas, that would be huge. If you catch Atlanta napping, sleeping on you, and get a surprise W there, that would be even bigger as well. So just whatever you do, try to get. Obviously, you're trying to win every game, right? But
yeah, I do say watching
tough.
some of these games.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if it's not being talked about, it's going to be talked about soon. But the refereeing in WNBA is getting
awful.
kind of borderline
It's
awful.
It's funny you mentioned that. There's an article in the Chronicle by Megan and Jemny, I think is how you say her name. She basically does the women's sport. She's on the women's sports beat, so a lot of BFC, a lot of Valkyries coverage. She actually wrote an article about refereeing in the WNBA, and it sounds like it's not any worse than it has been, but because there's more eyes on it, it's getting talked about a lot more now. So that's
my biggest issue is, yeah, you're obviously missing some calls it happens, like referees miss calls, but there's a difference between missing a call and controlling the emotions of the players on the court, and the referees are missing blatant calls that are causing a lot more physicality to happen. And a part of me wonders if they're just letting that happen, so that way if there is, let's say, a fight, for instance, what does it do? It brings more viewership. I don't know if that's the way they want to go. Maybe that's just my thought process of why it's so bad, but it does seem like the officiating is not just
Marissa
terrible.
and Jemmy. Sorry.
Yeah, the officiating is not just terrible, but it's not controlled environment, and they're just letting anything happen. And a lot of techs are happening out of basically retaliation calls because they didn't get a call a certain way that was pretty blatant and obvious, right? So I don't know. It's just what I've been noticing. It seems like it's kind of getting rumbling and talked about more and more, but I'm curious if they're letting that happen just to see if they can get more viewerships and more people watching it, more people that are not watching the Valkyries or not watching Indiana and all that stuff. So just got a curiosity.
Yeah. I don't know,
but they need to improve because you shouldn't have sports writers and podcasters and media talking about your game and about how crappy the officiating is. Of course, there's going to be blown calls in every sport, in every league. That's one thing. But to forget what side team to forget what is going on during the game, which I have seen numerous times this season, and not just across the league, specifically like with the Valkyrie, because that's pretty much the team that I watch when I do sit down and watch a game. And the referees have like forgotten how much time, how much is on the shot clock. Oh, wait, and they let plays go on, and now it's like beyond the point of correction. So the league definitely needs to take an eye at this, take a look at this, and improve it. And I think a lot of it is like training, a lot of it is preparation. We've talked about this a lot with like the NFL and making them full-time employees. Um, I think the WNBA is still growing, but I don't think they're losing any money. And I don't think like taking care of the referees and having a better support for the referees and officiating is going to kill your product. It's not going to break your bottom line on any of these leagues to take care of officiating.
Right. Yeah. And the article, Marissa in Jemmy's article specifically calls out the pay structure. Right now it's like the WNBA is basically getting the referees that couldn't quite cut it in the NBA. So you're getting the ones that are the rest that weren't quite good enough for the NBA, but are better than the college referees. So it's you get those weird middle ground. The ones that do like G League and stuff like that too. So it's like a weird middle ground there. So invest a little bit more, get better training, things like that. That's all the stuff that they're talking about. Discuss. They're gonna ongoing discussions is what Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner, said, and we're listening to feedback and blah 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 blah. So it sounds like that's stuff that they're going to that they may that they're going to talk about at least. I don't know if any action is going to be taken on it, but at least they are hearing people complain about it.
Yeah.
So and right now that's what we got right now is just, make it known, make it heard. That's it. So,
yeah, of course.
Sounds good.
Let's see, couple other just WNBA notes in general. Cameron Brink is returning tomorrow. So she had the ACL injury last year, ended her rookie season short. She was on pace to like challenge Caitlin Clark maybe a little bit for Rookie of the Year. Caitlin Clark was probably going to win it the entire way, but she would have at least made it a fighting chance along with Angel Reese. That would have been quite the three-headed battle heading into the end of the year. But she's back starting tonight or tomorrow night, excuse me. So that's exciting. They're playing the Las Vegas Aces, the Los Angeles Sparks. So that's going to be a lot of fun seeing how the new reconstituted knee reacts to
it is crazy how fast modern science and athletes healing up. I mean, I just saw a video that Jason Tatum is walking around after 2.5
3 months.
Yeah
3 months. Dude doesn't even have a boot on anymore. Wild.
Had an Achilles injury 2.5 months ago walking.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
WTF, Christian Wilkins? What's going
on? One other news that we didn't talk about last time. We did mention that Portland is getting an expansion team. Their official name is going to be the Portland Fire. For those of you that weren't around the last time Portland had a team name, their team name was the Portland Fire. So yes, they are bringing the name back. They are. So that's pretty exciting. Anybody that was a Portland fan when they had a WNBA team back in the early 2000s, those jerseys will be vintage, so you can dust them off.
You missed it. You could have said their jerseys are gonna be fire. Damn it!
I know. I was. I'm not trying to make every. I'm not. That one was too easy. I'm not trying to hit every pun.
I mean,
you had a chance and you blew it.
It was on the T-ball for you,
I know. It
we need like a dunk button, or like it like washes.
Yeah. I don't know, like a gong or something for when.
That is a very unique name for well, let's say a city that's surrounded by trees and lush green. To name your team Fire seems weird.
Right.
Well, their
Yeah.
logo is also like a flame, but a rose.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So basically the team folded in 2002. So that's how the team ended up not existing last time. Let's see. They were co-owned by the Portland Trailblazers. Like it was the same ownership group. But that team let's see. Uh the NBA sold off franchises to their operator counterparts or to third parties. Utah, let's see, there was a like some of the teams got sold to other parties, but then like the Miami team and the Portland team couldn't find owner groups, and so they folded. So that's why they couldn't find an ownership group to take over the Portland Fire last time. So that's why they couldn't. But now they do have ownership group. Obviously, they're getting and that's why they're coming back. So that's exciting. I'm glad that they're bringing back an updated look. It does look pretty cool. I do like that the rose looks like a fire, and because Portland is the Rose City, so it's kind of cool. I'm digging the font. It's it's a good look. So I think they hit the nail on the head there. So yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I think it was Paul Allen that owned them, if I'm not mistaken, because I think he owned the Trailblazers, if I'm not mistaken, and then sold off. Sounds right. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So
Microsoft billionaires, they control the weather. Blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
All right, we're gonna switch gears to soccer. We're talking. I forgot to give Tim the image for the U.S. women's national team. That's my bad. But that's okay. They just announced this news this morning, so it's not entirely my fault. They did announce. Just leave the BFC image up there. We'll talk about them in just a second. But U.S. women's national team October friendlies. They announced the official dates, and the opponents for October 23rd are going to be Portugal in Chester, Pennsylvania at 4 p.m. That game will be Alex Morgan's retirement celebration. She scored the first of her 123 international goals at the very stadium outside of Philadelphia about almost exactly 15 years to the date of this game. So almost exactly 15 years later, we're coming back to the scene of the crime. So that's going to be a lot of fun for her retirement celebration. 3 days later, they're going to East Hartford, Connecticut to also to play Portugal again. And that's where Alyssa Nair, Connecticut native, is going to have her retirement celebration. And then 3 days later on October 29th, they haven't announced that opponent yet, but that will be in Kansas City at CPKC Stadium. That's the Kansas City Current, the NWSL team's stadium. That's the first stadium purposely built for a women's professional sports team. That's the first one built in North America. Normally, the U.S. women's national team plays when they go to Kansas City. They'll play at Children's Mercy Park, which is a capacity of 18,000. But Emma Hayes, in a statement, said CPKC Stadium is a smaller venue than we usually play in, but in this instance, it's important to bring the national team here. So I think there's probably something brewing. There's probably something big happening for that specific game, especially to be playing near Halloween. I would assume there's maybe something fun and witchy happening at CPKC Stadium at Kansas City for that particular game. So looking forward to seeing who the opponent is for that one. Still to be determined. So with that, let's talk about the game that we went to, the game that we're all wearing our brand new hats for. I already had a BFC hats, but I needed a new one. You guys got your BFC hats. Tyler, you went with the cream, the cream on cream. Sam, you're rocking the Hello
cream
Kitty.
of the crop.
The cream, to the crop. Ooh, yeah. Sam, they were giving away Hello Kitty BFC hats. They were playing the Urawa Red Diamonds. they get the draw 2-2. It was quite a game. Before we could even get to our seats, Penelope Hawking scored. Carly Lima fed it to her from the left side. Hawking just kind of fires away from near the top of the box and just absolute rocket, man. I loved it. It was watching from the highlights as we're trying to get to our seats, and yeah, cool, really cool.
Speak to yourself. I watched that one. I tried to get my wife to come over, and she thought that I was trying to tell her to go up the stairs, and she missed the goal. I was like, oh man. Oh, I don't tell you.
I saw. Well, I was able to see it like on the big screen because I was like right by an open doorway as like I was holding my food and I was walking to the seats and I was kind of saw it developing and I was able to stop and see it happen. But yeah, it was really cool. And then in the 21st minute, the Red Diamonds capitalized on chaos in the box. Silkel with the goalkeeper for BFC got nutmegged, but then the BFC defenders kind of swarmed to reject the initial shot. A second shot is also rejected, but then the third follow finally gets through and ties up the match. We go into the second half. The Red Diamonds score on another rocket off of a deflection as well. But then in the second minute of stoppage time, there's a penalty call and a goal. Penelope Hawking draws a penalty in the box right as stoppage time begins, and then Conti takes the penalty, goes left and up, and I called it. You asked me where's she going, right? And I literally I just pointed like away and left, and high, and that's exactly where she went. And just another rocket, man, just launched it and gets the draw. And that's, as somebody who's been watching basically every Bay FC game, I haven't seen many late goals this year. In fact, I've seen none. Okay. There have not been like barely any late goals to watch. I think that might have been the first one after like 75 minutes this entire season. And obviously it doesn't count for any standings, because this is a international friendly. But it's, if this is something that kind of sparks a little bit of late game goal scoring, a little aggressiveness, it's good to see. It's good to see that they got more than one goal in a game, especially without having Rachel Kundunanji playing in this game. Oshawala was also not available. She was busy winning AFCON with Nigeria. Kundunanji was back. She wasn't playing though. She had just gotten back. They had gotten eliminated in the semifinals, I believe. So, but yeah, so that's how that game went as far as what happened on the field. But guys, what did you think about just like this is your first time at a Bay FC game. I kind of wanted to know, what did you think about just everything? Like just your entire experience. What did you think?
Yeah, I was telling Sam that it the some parts of it kind of remind me a little bit of San Diego, and the stadium out there with the whole big screen and the grass area to hang out if you want to just hang out there. Yeah, I think it was a great stadium. It was clean, well maintained. People were nice. There wasn't any issues of any drunken stupor happening or anything like that. So I actually enjoyed it. I think we still need to go catch a Valkyrie game, but I think we might try and see if we can catch some more Bay FC games if we can.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What about blast, you, Sam? Great environment. Great crowd. Everything was really nice, really clean. Got the nachos with the steak on it. That was for stadium food, it was actually pretty good. We were talking about it on the way in and out. Is looks like there's going to be a BART stop being built there in the coming years. So I think it's going to make it way more accessible, and it's also not too far from the airport. So, it makes getting there a lot easier. And I think there's probably going to be some stuff that's starting to get built up around the stadium. Some places where you could spill over, before or after the game. But overall, it was a great time, and I definitely want to go to another game, either this season or next season. So it's definitely something I would like to revisit.
And I'll be
Awesome.
more excited as well too once that pending sale goes through and
Yeah.
For the
we can watch.
earthquakes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say, as somebody who's been going to quite a few Bay FC games last year, and then obviously we went to this one this year so far, and I obviously try to go to as much as I can. Um, the Going to women's sporting events versus men's sporting events, like the fans in attendance, everybody's still locked in, just like at men's sporting events. Like, that part's good. Everybody's cheering, everybody's like locked in. It's just the like you said, Tyler, the drunken stuporness is like just like that part of it's not really there.
Yeah.
The hostile, like like the just super aggroness isn't really there. And that's what is really nice. It's a little bit more family friendly, I guess. And it's a little bit different because this was an international friendly too, because so there was like no bad vibes. It wasn't like a rivalry game either.
Mhm.
But like, when when they're playing a rivalry game, or an NWSL game, like they'll boo the other team too, like give it to the other team a bit. It gets loud in there too, for sure, and they'll let them have it. But also, it's it's also but that the I guess the male aggroness, the drunken stupor, the toxic masculinity is what's not there, and that's the part that I like. I like about it is it's still it's family friendly, and it's a fun way to go and boo your hated rival,
Sure.
and you can still you can bring your family, and still it's great. I enjoy it, and highly recommend for families, and it's great, and the players love the energy too. Anytime anybody gets interviewed, like when uh I listen to Sam Ewis, who does the women's game podcast on the Men in Blazers network. When she talks to NWSL players, when she asks like which stadium is tough to play in, they always mention Bay AFC coming to the Bay Area as a tough one to play, because of how like into it the crowd is, and like how like locked in everybody is, and like they'll give it to you, they'll boo, but like it's always like also like respectful too, though. So like, it's just it's a
I
nice
just
time.
did a quick Google on who could potentially buy the earthquakes. Apparently, the 49ers are interested,
Yeah.
because they already own some soccer clubs.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also interest from the city of San Jose to hopefully relocate them to downtown San Jose. Although I don't know where they would play.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I don't
I,
even know. I mean, I get why you want to relocate, but that stadium it's really well maintained.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you'd want to move it so fast. Other than
I,
obviously
I
you're trying to reap more dollars, I guess.
I would say the Fisher's not entirely wrong about the stadium's ability to draw in money, because from a money standpoint, because of the limitations, because you can only have 18,000 people in there for one. So, and you can't build it up at all. You can't expand it, because the airport's right there. You can't go
You're
bigger.
locked in. It's locked.
You're basically locked in. That's the maximum size that you can go, really. You can't with the bar on the other side too. You can't really build a fourth, grandstand either. Um, with the scoreboard there too, so you can't even like build a score. You can't even raise the scoreboard either. So it's just like that's the size. That's what it is. An 18,000 seat stadium. That's you're just it's locked. That's it. That's and 18,000. That's that's fine and dandy. That that'll work. But also like the designing it so that way your suites are on the ground level.
Yeah, that is weird.
it's a little weird. It's not completely unheard of. I see a few other stadiums that kind of do that here and there. I don't like it because you can charge regular fans exorbitant prices for those seats if you had made the stands go all the way down, and then you can charge sweet prices at the top of the stadium, you know, and
Yeah,
make
but
those
who
super fancy
who
there, and
built
that's
it?
what's
Who designed it? Who had their
exactly.
hand in
It's
the cookie
done.
jar?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
idiots,
Idiots. That's who designed
idiots
it.
in charge.
Well,
Yeah,
my thing
FJF.
too, my takeaway from it is that like, if you're gonna build a BART station there, I guess that BART station only just becomes convenient to the airport at that point, right? So like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the local area. There's
Well,
yeah.
I think if the earthquakes did get sold and relocated, I think this would open. I think Bay FC is actually trying to like buy the stadium or partially get a lease or something long term at that stadium. So I think it would actually work out for Bay FC if
Oh
they got
no,
the
no, yeah.
stadium.
They want their own stadium. They want
Yeah,
their own place to play. If it ends up being that they get like that they take over, you know, this stadium, PayPal Park, so be it. If they're already building the at Treasure Island, they're already starting to
that's the
work on
training
that
facilities.
a training facility up
Yeah,
there. So whatever happens with that, that's still to be determined.
yeah.
But all right, so let's see. Upcoming match for Bay FC, NWSL action starts this weekend. Finally, we're getting back into it. Right now, they're sitting in 10th place. They need to get up into the top 8 to make the playoffs. They're hosting the Houston Dash on Saturday, and that's going to be a huge one. Houston is below you in the standings. You need to start stacking some wins. Okay, so perfect opportunity. What we just talked about expansion teams. Denver's getting an expansion team in the NWSL. They announced that their team name is going to be the Denver Summit. It's an excellent name. The logo, it looks great, and they talked about the rationale behind the name. They talked about like it's mostly green. Like they talked about the mountains. They talked with some yellow and red in the sky for the sun and the red sky. The red also is like an homage to Red Rocks. Like the sandstone
Hmm.
wall formations and all that stuff. So like also it's just really it's a really cool logo. I think they did it right. As opposed to Boston, uh, oh, they were originally Boss Nation FC for a hot second, and that was just the worst damn rollout I've ever seen for a women's sports team. They've since rebranded to Boston Legacy FC, so that's a little bit better. Still not great. Denver, they absolutely crushed it with this one, so good work there. And uh, one more note on BFC, they are loaning out. This just broke earlier, like within the last couple of hours, actually, before we started recording. They're loaning out defender Jordan Brewster out to Club America in Liga MX Femenil for the rest of the 2025 season. So good luck to her out there. And yeah, so they're just kind of clearing the room a little bit. I think they're gonna they've been sending out some players. I think they're clearing room to try to bring somebody in now. I think they got about one more month to bring in somebody. They got basically to the end of August for the summer transfer window. So got to try to make some noise, and we'll see what they can do. Okay.
Right home.
Hockey talk.
yeah, I think there's just a little bit of action.
Yeah, just a little bit. The Sharks made a trade this week. They send Daniil Gushchin to Colorado. They get back Oscar Olason. It's just basically a minor leaguer for minor leaguer swap. Neither of those guys could kind of break through on their current teams. So it's you hope for fresh start for both of them. And if they break through, great. If they don't, whatever. I kind of wanted to just briefly look through some of I was looking through some of the misses on Doug Wilson's time as GM, and woof. Uh, so 2020 draft class, the biggest name that he had in there was Thomas Bordelot in the second round. Thomas Bordelot was okay. You know, he got traded to New Jersey because he couldn't quite crack the lineup. He kept bouncing up and down. He was mostly down with the Barracuda this last year. He's getting a fresh start as well. Ozzy Wiesblatt, he ended up getting traded as well. He was the first round pick in 2020. Yeah, and then I just see a whole bunch of guys that in 2020 don't even remember. 2019, I don't remember those names. Santeri Hatika in the 6th round. Yeah, no. 2018, Ryan Merkley. There's a name. Jasper Weatherby. There's a name I haven't heard in a while. John Leonard in the 6th round.
Wow.
That's a guy, so those are the names of guys that I remember getting called up ever so briefly. So the last like 3 years or so of Doug Wilson's tenure, the scouting department, at least for the draft, didn't do so well. So it doesn't surprise me that Mike Greer cleared house. Especially when you miss on the first round picks, and the second round picks, you can't miss on those. Anybody from the 3rd round down, we've talked about it before, makes sense. Like those guys are hit and misses. You're gonna have more misses than hits anyway. Totally expected. Those are lotto tickets.
Absolutely.
But 1st and 2nd round picks, you gotta hit on those, and if you don't, it sets you back even further. And that's why the Sharks were that's why it's taken them so long. That's why it took them 3 years before they even admitted that they were going to have to be in a rebuild, before they were actually started to rebuild. It's just it was disappointing, but they
they
did
had
pull the
bad
trigger,
contracts.
and
They had a bad minor system.
like they had
bad
to rip
salary
it down
cap
to the
situation.
studs, and that
Yeah.
includes the scouting department, man. But they did do it, and it looks like we're on the other side now. And
I think that's
thank
something in a
goodness.
rebuild people don't understand is like a new GM comes in. Yeah, some staff carries over. I'm sure there's like some scouting people that carry it over somewhat from the old regime to the new one. But I think for the most part, Mike Greer tore every single department down and rebuilt it. So
Yeah.
it took a while.
I something that's not on our list, but I did just see, like, this is another thing just for hockey related. They announced the miles traveled for every team this year.
Oh,
So
gosh.
Edmonton is going to be leading the league in miles traveled. Over 54,000 miles, 54,426. Okay. Next on the list, because of an international game in Stockholm, Sweden, is actually the Pittsburgh Penguins, 54,088. Dallas has 50,000, and then the Sharks are 4th, 50,346. And then in terms of fewest miles traveled this season,
New York.
it's the New York Islanders. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, that's about right.
28,000
right.
miles. Toronto has 32,000, Buffalo 32,000, Detroit 33, New Jersey 34, Montreal 35, Columbus 35, Carolina 35. The New York Rangers they have almost 41,000 miles to travel this year. So that's a little interesting. And it's just, it's not just where you have to go, it's the order in which you go, right?
Mhm.
Because of, how the road trips end up breaking out. Yeah. So that's fun.
Well, I'm excited to see, what, Dickinson's going to be on the team, most likely. Probably starting off as a 3rd or 2nd liner. I don't think he breaks the 2nd line, to be honest with you, but I'd say maybe 3rd or 4th liner to start him off there. I'm excited to see that happen. Obviously I want to see Hao Shi Wang. I want to see, where his development is. And obviously, of course, I want to see Misa. So to
it
say that
sounds
this
like Hao
draft
Shi
class,
Wang.
yeah.
I last
He's
I
gonna
heard,
be a
I think
while.
I think Hao Shi Wang's going to college actually for a year.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well,
good
that's
for
what I'm saying. I
him.
want to see what his development's going to be like, and again, he's no guarantee he's going to make the roster at all, but
Mhm.
exciting news nonetheless. To the point though, I mean, I can't remember the last time I've been in this invested in Sharks draft capital and draft history.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I do happen to have like a list of top rated prospects just according to one of the guys I follow on Instagram. He has Michael Misa as the number 1 prospect right now. He has Sam Dickinson as number 2, Quentin Musty is 3, Chernishoff is 4, Cagnoni is number 5. The goalie we just drafted, Ravensbergen at 6, Bystead is 7, and Hao Shi Wang at 8. And then Polkamp, the defenseman, at 9, and then Cam Lund at 10. He did also give an honorable mention to Haltonen, Wallenius, Havilid, and Cole McKinney as well. So I mean, that's a pretty stocked. The cupboard is pretty full. Where it wasn't quite.
And you
so
still
full.
got
I
a
mean,
shit ton of draft picks next year.
yeah, in the next couple of years. So this is good, and you're. It's probably going to be a fairly high pick. I would expect a top 10 pick, probably.
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I mean,
unless they do the miracle and sneak into the playoffs, I think that's pretty much the only outlier.
If they sneak in as the second wild card, I mean, that's not entirely impossible.
Yeah.
I'm not outright saying that's not going to happen. This is like, if the rookies happen to develop, faster than you expect, if things break, our way, and it's miracles happen, weird things happen. I'm not outright ruling anything out. I don't expect that to happen though. That it would be about a year or two too early in terms of the development track we're on. It'd be earlier than I would expect, but you never know. And that's why it's fun right now. That's the vibes are good, right?
Yeah.
And when the vibes are good, sometimes weird things happen. Pucks bounce your way.
I mean, I could totally see a situation too where the Sharks are surprising people and they're right in the thick of it. Maybe they're a game or two above 500 and they're competing and they're showing that they could be a playoff team. And then Greer goes out and gets someone to add more defense or scoring because you have so much draft capital and people in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Where like you might be able to swing some type of trade and get something to because we said this before. You got to get these guys to start winning early. It's great that they're playing, it's great that they're learning, but you as a young team, you want to get to that winning as soon as you can because it's we've seen a lot of rebuilds in hockey and baseball and basketball where they just kind of stay at that same level and they never quite a young team never quite get over the hump and then they all just become mediocre players. So I do think it's important that and I think Greer's doing that, like getting a lot of veterans who have won. They traded for, we didn't talk about it that much, they made it the trade for the big dude. He's not really a scorer, not really going to show up in the stats, but he ain't gonna.
Yeah.
Was it
Ryan Reeves?
Ryan Reeves. Like he's not going to let these young guys get pushed around, right? He's going to go out there and do some
that's
work.
Gonna be so weird.
I have a question before we sign off here. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excluding defense just because I feel like that's still kind of up in the air for us.
It's a work in progress. I don't think the defense is there, and that's why I think we're still going to be bad. But yeah.
What is your top line and your second line for your center, right, and left wing? Now, remember, obviously, Macklin's probably going to be your top wing. I'll give you that one in your little bonus bingo card. But you've got Will Smith, you've got William Eklund, you've got Tyler Toffoli, and you've got Jeff Skinner. I'm not even counting if Misa even makes the team as far as
I
like,
think
on the team.
I think Misa is on the team. I think Misa is in there in that mix.
So what's your
so-
top line and what's your second line?
So I'm gonna have, at least for now, I'm gonna have my centers are going to be Macklin and Will Smith, and then Misa's gonna be playing on the wing, at
Okay.
least to start.
That's
with
your first line.
That's my so I'm gonna have Misa, Macklin, and Toffoli.
Okay.
That's my first line, and then Will Smith will be my second line center, with Skinner and whoever else.
Eklund?
Probably Eklund. Yeah, at least to start, and then eventually the goal is to have Misa be the second line center. That's the eventual goal. That's what I want to see eventually happen. But I think to start, I think it's easier to get him acclimated to the NHL as a winger.
I think that's what they did with Will Smith, right? Like
it's a little more responsibility, as a center, and so just to give them more responsibility to somebody that's already been at the NHL level.
So. A part of me thinks that, like, I mean, it's such a good problem to have, but a part of me wants Toffoli and Skinner on the same line together, just because they have already kind of a natural. We played together as kids, and there might be some connection there. You know, maybe they can, I don't know, be like the Sedin twins and just know where each one's going to be at all times. You know what I mean? Since they've already played together when they were kids. So I don't know. I kind of want to experiment with that too. I want to see what that's like. It'd be a sweet
story.
Yeah. No, it's a good problem to have. Really good problem. But yeah, definitely. Misa, man, don't go to college. I mean, do go to college if you want to get a degree.
You know what?
Don't go to college because it's not going to help your.
Go to the Sharks.
No. You know what? Here we go. To get Toffoli and Skinner on the same line, you put them on the second line, and you put Eklund up at the top line with Celebrini, and then then you have Misa. Maybe, you know what? Screw it. Maybe Misa is just your second line and center. And then you have Toffoli. You have the two veterans alongside the rookie. Maybe that's how you make it work. Maybe that's how you make it work with Misa as the center. If you have the two veterans on either side of him, maybe that's how you make it work. You know,
Misa scored
then,
like
then
over
you can have
100
Smith,
goals.
Celebrini, and Eklund. Huh?
Misa scored like over 100, or at least he had over 150 points or something like that, right? Something crazy.
He had like I don't know, something like a very nice 69 goals or something like that at the OHL level or something like ridiculous. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, maybe that's how you make it work. Is you have the two veterans, veteran wingers on either side of them, with Toffoli and Skinner, and then you have on your first line. That's how you have Eklund and Smith and Celebrini as your first line.
I forgot. Musty's probably gonna wind his way up on the team at the end.
Yeah, Musty's gonna.
I think. Well, Colin Graff probably starts the team. Starts off on the Sharks. And Musty probably starts off down at the Barracuda, but like is knocking on the door. And like that first injury, or the first person to get sent down, like Musty is the first one up. I think is probably that's my prediction.
I mean, we could argue that Colin Graff was probably one of the better offensive players for the Barracudas.
Oh yeah, no, Colin Graff is on the team. I'm saying Musty is the one that's like the first one. Yeah.
Don't forget Igor. Oh god. Gosh.
Anyway, we gotta move on. Let's call it a night. Let's wrap this up. It's late. We're over.
Guys, I got the roster up.
Okay.
Well, anyways, I really don't have anything else other
Wrap
than
this
just
up.
I could talk about the Sharks all night. That's how excited I am about this. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to the SVT podcast. Subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell to get alerts when we go live. Tell us what your top line you think it's going to be for the Sharks. Comment on our YouTube, like and subscribe there. If you can't there, go ahead and hit us up on Instagram and Threads at SVT Sports Pods. Slide into the DMs. We would love to interact with all you beautiful people. Peace.
FJF.
Have a good night, everyone.